In many ways, Star Citizen is an open sandbox game. You do what you want to do, play how you want to play, and even create your own gameplay experience. But does that mean there's no path of progression in Star Citizen? Are there things that you can do that, in turn, influence and advance your own gameplay? And I'm not talking about the future of the game, I'm talking about right now, in its current state. So let's talk about how you can create progression right now in Star Citizen. Sometimes very simple games can be very addictive. And even though there's a lot of different factors that can influence the enjoyable nature of a game, two elements typically stand out. And most games usually have one or the other, or both of these. One is a sense of winning or beating some obstacle like a boss or level in a game. And the other is a sense of continually improving your character's ability or performance, which can open up new possibilities or make you better at what you're doing. Both of those types of things are progression. It's not hard to think about games you've played, that you've enjoyed, and see those elements. Which leads to Star Citizen in its current state of development, and things that you can do to enjoy the game and hopefully get that sense of progression. First, I'll talk about a progression I'm working on right now, which is perfect given the recent wipe and loss of money and other items bought in-game. I've been mining with my prospector, going out to the asteroid fields, mining rocks, and bringing them back to the M1 refinery for processing. I've been then using my Cutlass Black to transport the refined material to New Babbage to sell. It's been a great setup, and a lucky one, because the only two currently flyable ships I've bought with real money are the Prospector and Cutlass. After a few of these runs though, it got a little tiresome to make the trip to New Babbage for each mining haul. The Prospector can bring back 32 SCU of cargo. The Cutlass holds 46 SCU. So if I do a good job mining, and even get the Prospector mostly full of refinable material, let's say 25 SCU, it's not possible to transport 2 loads of refined material at once. Every now and again I get lucky and can take 2, but usually not. This is what leads to my progression. I decided to work towards a bigger transport ship and settled on the Freelancer Max, which holds 120 SCU, almost 3 times what the Cutlass holds. I should have no problem transporting 3 to 4 mining runs at once with the Freelancer Max. And I'll admit, I've always had a liking for the Freelancer Max. It's reasonably priced in-game for the amount of cargo it hauls. It's still fairly nimble to fly and lands in remote areas, and can carry a ground vehicle, has a ladder entrance for hijacking security. Basically, it's a great ship. In fact, it's on my bucket list of ships to buy in-game whenever the game goes to full permanence, which leads me to another progression. I often get asked variations of the same question, which is along the lines of, what ship should I buy to get into Star Citizen? Or which ship will be the most useful if I decide to buy Star Citizen? Basically, what ship should I get or do I need? Now, a person can buy whatever ship they want. They can buy 5 ships, spend thousands of dollars. There's no right or wrong decision here. It all depends on what you want to do in the game. But if what you want to do is to get the greatest feel of progression, then my suggestion is to get an Aurora or a similar small ship and work your way up to bigger ships, increasing your fleet and capabilities as you go. There's something very satisfying about starting with almost nothing and working your way up to bigger and better things. A lot of times, it's those early days of a game where I'm piecing together an existence and getting those first little wins that even feel better than the late game, more epic achievements. Now, like I said, there's absolutely nothing wrong with doing what I did and buying a more mid-level ship or 2, or even getting more all-out and buying a Carrack, a Redeemer. There's a huge amount of cool doing that, and I'm enjoying immensely my Prospector and Cutlass combination. But it does mean that I missed out on some of those first steps in the game, and starting that incremental reward of progression. The progression of starter ships to bigger ones goes beyond the ship itself. Star Citizen does not have character progression. Your character doesn't level up or gain skill points or new abilities, per se. The character is you, and any leveling is you getting more familiar with the gameplay and increasing your own human ability. This is true for flying different ships, aerial combat, ground combat, mining, and I'm sure it will translate to other activities like salvage and other gameplay. I think it's why I'm so jazzed about this Freelancer Max. For me, it's my biggest in-game purchase, a new advancement, and I'm really enjoying the journey just getting it. So if you're a person that really grooves on that sense of progression and are thinking about getting into Star Citizen, look at those smaller ships. That Aurora, the Mustang, the Pisces, a 100 series, that sort of thing. It'll give you the longest road of progression. My Freelancer Max will not only open up the next stage of transporting my mined goods, but allow me to get into more serious cargo hauling. I know it's not a Caterpillar or a Hercules transport ship, but it's my next step of progression. And I'm going to use this new ship to open up some other kinds of gameplay. I could just use my Cutlass, but I'm going to use the new Freelancer to open up some reputation progression. CIG has put the initial reputation system into the game. I'm sure it's still pretty experimental and will expand and change with future game updates, but right now there is a way to build reputation with different factions and unlock new gameplay only accessible through this reputation system. I started building reputation with Unified Distribution Management. That's the people that back the delivery missions around Microtech. It started with a single box delivery from one location to another and paid 3,000 credits. After that, I unlocked the progression and had to do a series of delivery missions to work my way through the junior runner level. They were harder in that they took a bit more time, and were ones that you have to pick up and deliver a series of 3 boxes, but they paid 8,000 credits. Now, I probably would have done these delivery missions in the past with a smaller ship like the 315P, which I had before the wipe, but I'm using the Freelancer Max, a heavy freighter. Odd choice? Well, yes and no. The smaller and faster 315P would be the more classic choice for completing the delivery in a timely fashion. But I'm unconventional, and I'm experimenting with the possibilities of this new Freelancer Max. So I'm choosing delivery missions that will take me to locations where I can buy and sell 1 or 2 loads of goods during my travels. So far, I think I'm making more money with the opportunistic cargo hauling than the actual mission. And this isn't a new concept. I did it with the 315P, but then the cargo part was just a slight bumper to the delivery payment. I'm mainly doing the delivery missions to get the reputation and see where it will lead. When I get to the level of runner, it'll probably unlock some other kind of delivery and some new gameplay. A lot of folks have been doing the bounty hunter missions to build reputation with those groups, and generally doing a lot of the ship combat. I'm not that great at ship combat, so I'm not doing those just yet, as I'm sure to be quickly outgunned. But for the combat hardy, it's another path of progression. You get progressively more difficult combat missions that pay more and more, and in the process, improve your own fighting skills. That's double progression. I'm also confident that the reputation system will be tied to other gameplay things like building reputation with a faction in the future data running or intel trading. It might be the way to unlock certain jump gates, or provide access to higher levels of data storage devices, special gear for the FPS combat expert, that sort of thing. There will probably even be strategic choices between factions, like in the cargo delivery area, where building reputation with one faction will decrease reputation with another, because they're competing companies. And that reputation could be tied to the ship progression I mentioned, where different companies specialize in different kinds of delivery. One offering missions of small amounts of high-value cargo that would be good for small ships, and the others favoring high-volume, low-value cargo for the big haulers. So even though there isn't the typical character progression, you've got potential progression through ships, reputation progression, and your own skills and ways to strategically put together gameplay, with a lot more to come with this new reputation system. It's early, and the game will get periodic resets for a while, but I think there is enough right now to be enjoyable if you work what's available. I'm curious what's going to come after the runner reputation level I'm working on right now, and I'm really enjoying this Freelancer Max. My next bit of progression may be with my Prospector to pimp it out with some major upgrades, measured with science of course. Let me know what you think about the current state of progression in the game. Or is there any? Where would you like to see it go? I'm going to keep flying my new Freelancer Max. It has so many seats. Where's my crew? They need to be manning the turret and loading the delivery boxes. They're probably goofing off somewhere, just watching Earth videos.